1.2 is variable and verbal expressions. This is going to be a little different than the first section we looked at where you guys were taking notes. Here I'm just going to do some examples that I have highlighted, and then you can work on some other examples. Really, the best way to do these is practice and familiarizing yourself with the vocabulary. So what we're doing here is taking words and turning them into math. We're taking math and turning it into words. So variable expressions, we're working with variables, that's the math aspect, and verbal expressions. So how you would say those equations or expressions. So the difference of 5 and 10, what I need to know here is difference is subtraction. So I would write this as 10 minus 5, the difference of 5 and 10. Okay. 2, the quotient of 14 and 7. Quotient tells me I'm working with division. That's my key word there. So 14 divided by 7. This is a verbal expression, and this is my variable, or in this case, numerical expression. But when we have numbers or variables, that's the variable or verbal expression. I'm sorry, variable or numerical expression. But when we're talking with words, that's when we're saying the verbal expression. So number 7, the sum of Q and 8. We're talking about sum is addition, so Q plus 8. Number 6, the product of 7 and x, or x and 7, so 7x. If you're not already familiar with this, when you write a number directly next to a variable, you're showing multiplication. So this is the same thing as saying 7 times x. That little dot is the same thing as 7 times x. Those all mean the same thing, it's just a different way of writing it. We're going to shy away from using this one on the end just because we don't want that x as multiplication to be mistaken as a variable. So if you'd like to use the little dot, otherwise you just put it right next to the variable. All right, I'm going to scroll down to somewhere there's actually already a numerical or variable expression. We're going to turn into a verbal expression. So here I'm doing division, and I have 40 divided by 5. So I could write 40 divided by 5. Basically, how I say it as I read it is a verbal expression. I could say the quotient of 40 and 5. These are saying the same thing. If you're not sure if you're saying it right, you should be able to write it out, hand it to a partner, and your partner should get the original. Otherwise, there's some miscommunication there that you want to clear up. You want to be as clear as possible. So I'm going to jump to number 21. I have n minus 14. So I could say n decreased by 14, or the difference of n and 14. And again, you have other options. So if you wrote something else, or if you write something else, as long as we all get back to the same place, someone reading it would say, oh, I'm going to do n minus 14. You're still okay. We're on the right page. There's multiple correct answers here. I'm going to hop down to the next page where it says, what is c diminished by 8 represented as an algebraic expression? So this is our numerical variable expression. Another term for that is an algebraic expression. So c diminished by 8. You have c things over time, or that seems like it's decay, but you take away 8 of the things. You're starting with c and taking away 8. In this case, my answer is A. Gonna hop to number 4. It says 3 less than twice z is represented by the algebraic expression. Well, I'm going to start here. Twice z tells me I'm doing 2 times z. This tricky thing here, and people always mess this up, is when it says less than, I'm really starting with 2z. And then I'm taking away 3. 3 less than whatever 2z was. So what I'm looking for here is C ends up being my answer. Some of them are going to be a little trickier, like number 5, which algebraic expression represents after 5 is subtracted from a number. So this is my first part. So after that, so this tells me n minus 5. The number came first and I subtracted 5. The difference, so the answer after subtraction is divided by 2, and the result is, this is means equal sign, 15. So I'm looking for one that looks like that, and I see that B is my answer here. If you're not sure in multiple choice, the best way might be to not look at the answer choices, figure out the work for yourself, and then find the matching one. Really, like I said before, the best thing you can do for yourself here is practice, a lot of practice. So think about words that mean quotient, divided by, quotient, grouped into X number of groups. When you're talking about subtraction, subtracted, minus, diminished, less than, multiplication, times, multiplied by the product of, and same thing with addition, added to, increased by, the sum of. It's a matter of becoming familiar with the vocabulary and then turning the vocab into an algebraic expression, and vice versa, turning algebraic expressions into vocab. We also notice down here there are some evaluating expressions, which is a review from the other day. You're going to work on this after you finish the video.